Good afternoon. I'm Raylan Davis, and I am doing my fifth blog for EDUC 639. This is geared toward the legal, ethical, and theological issues that are that it has presented itself in the field of distant education and educational technology. As I listened to the video on ethical, theological, and legal issues in distant education, as well as in educational technology, I see that Dr. David Brown, he talked about how information can be submitted in for original work or reviewed as a person own works, but we need to also learn to be careful when presenting that material, because sometimes we can just overlook a piece of information that could have been cited or documented as someone else's work, and it could be considered as plagiarism if we don't properly cite that information or tell where that information comes from. Um, he also talked about because there is uh, such a large amount of plagiarism that plays a major role, especially in different colleges and universities. Um, there are programs that are created to be able to help us to prevent from being accused of plagiarism. There's a program such as Safe Assign or Turnitin.com or Grammar or um, essay writing, paper rater. It just tells you how many percent is being used um, when we are doing a large amount of work that can be used from other sources. But we have to be careful so that we would not be faulty of plagiarism. Dr. Brown also states that um, in the studies that 93% of students really get caught doing um, plagiarism in a university or college level, and about 60 of those students admitted that they, have cheated in college or using others people's work as their own. Dr. Brown also mentioned about the data meeting, the meta data. And this is where students would use their copy and pasting information from other sources, and they don't give that credit where credit is due. And they get the information from third party, and they feel like, okay, well, if I get it from third party, then it could possibly I can't get caught and so forth. But as we stated before, that those programs that are used, such as the sign, Safe to Sign, and Turnitin.com, on other different types of programs that prevent us from plagiarizing, they can possibly get caught plagiarizing with other information that is not being used as their own. So we want to try to be as original and be as creative as possible, and try, if we do use other works, to document it and sort it as their work and not as our own, but as a support for what we have come up with in our paper. I also looked at the video dealing with Dr. Tyler Veek. He spoke about the importance of copyright and why it's important um, to talk about copyright. And we know that copyright is important because it helps people that copyright. It helps them make money. It helps them have that legal protection right. Um, it even can accept their own rights when they are copyright, and most importantly, it can become a legacy throughout whatever you are doing. So that's the importance of having copyright material. Um, Dr. V also used examples such as um, being original when you are copywriting, being creative, show some type of authorship, as well as um, think. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you some of the things that he discussed as examples of copyright. Um, he said it is very important to consider the benefit of copyright, and it can provide stronger legal evidence and the right to seek and obtain more money. Um, the legal protection right is kind of coincide with what we talk about in copyright, and we see that Dr. V discusses that about the work of the government, other laws, facts, ideals. Even when you're using processes, all of that is considered as a not protected under the copyright law, so you can pretty much probably get away with certain things. He also states about educators, and speaking from an educator perspective, we must guide our students the legal way of copyrighting material or the legal way of using material throughout their studies. We should be able to help these students being able to identify copyright information, when to use that material and when not to use that material, and if you are using that material, be able to give it the credit where credit is due. Um, we want to teach our students that if you are going to try to copyright your material, make sure that you are using, reproducing. Um, if you are dealing with any type of digital media, make sure that it deals with what the copyright is expecting. Um, and as I stated before, just be original, be creative, and try to present it as your own work. In conclusion, I feel that the copyright law and plagiarism prevention programs, um, it plays hand in hand. They are legal protections to help people understand that the work must be original, it must be creative, it must be um, your own work, show some type of authorship. Um, and even just looking from it from a legal standpoint here, we see that copyright can be an evidence that work is original. It shows that copying from other sources, um, if anyone is getting caught doing that, that can lead to serious damages or different type of or legal situations, such as a person can be jailed for being able to violating copyright law, or a person can be fined. You can have some type of alternative fees that you are faced with because of those copyright laws in which you violate. So you don't want to get caught doing that. Just always be original and creative at all times to avoid penalties for copyright. And I feel that these issues that are brought up is very important, and that it can help any individual, such as we all that are in these courses now, especially those who are taking technology courses, be very careful of the copyright laws and how plagiarism and copyright laws can play hand in hand and pretty much uh, can be sought simultaneously when you are being faulty of these issues that you are violating. I thank you so much for listening to my blog. I am so sorry for being so long-winded, but I felt like this is an issue that needs to be addressed and talked about, and it's a great topic. Please do comment on my blog. Um, Thank you for listening. God bless. Good night.